Okay, everyone. Hello. Welcome to W.T.F DCL, shorter Who Talks Facts, not everything. I'm ToxicWaifu, and this space is where we get real about Decentraland. No filters, no drama, just open convo with the DCL fam. Thanks everyone who is here with us on X and also in world for everyone who's listening. We are meeting in Decentraland in the Top Hub world. Hope to see you there. So, tonight's topic is a spicy one. We are talking about who holds the power in Decentraland. Is it the foundation, the DAO, or is it really us, the users? And a quick reminder about this space. This is a respectful space, and you can totally disagree. You can even rant a little, but no hate, no ego battles, no interrupting. Please keep it chill and keep it real. So, we are now starting with a little breakdown of the whole topic, and after that, you are very warmly invited to share your thoughts. Okay, so Decentraland has a pretty unique power structure. It's not a typical company with a CEO. It's layered and sometimes very confusing. So let's unpack it and start with the foundation. So the Decentraland Foundation is a nonprofit. They don't govern in the DAO sense. They don't vote on proposals or control the DAO treasury, but they do have their own treasury, and a lot of power comes from how they operate. So they're maintaining the main client, that is the one that we are most using daily, and the marketplace, platform security, brand education, marketing, partnerships. So yeah, really big responsibilities, but it goes even deeper. They decide what features are getting built and which doesn't, and what gets shared publicly and what stays internal. So there are no public dashboards for user metrics, no clear info on how many people work there. There's no public org chart, no open hiring roadmap, no transparency by design. So no way for us to verify most operational decisions. So while they are not governing, they shape what we experience and what we know. That's not a bad thing per se, but it means that we rely more on trust than transparency. So the foundation holds the power through infrastructure, information, and control over access. I hope everyone in Decentraland can hear me. So we're not talking about the DAO. So DAO is the governance body of Decentraland. It manages the main treasury, sets strategy, and it means to keep the power decentralized. After the restructuring, the DAO now operates in 3 layers. First layer, the community. Anyone with voting power can vote on proposals. So voting power is tied to assets like mana, land names, and some NFTs. And that means some wallets, we call them VP whales, hold millions of votes. So in practice, a few large holders can sway or block proposals, and the majority holds a limited weight. It's still open, but it's far from equal. So, and the second, the DAO Council. This is a group of 5, currently 4 people, with oversight power. They approve budgets and the strategy, hire and fire the executive director, and have veto rights. So the community elects the council. So they're accountable, but not directly controlled day to day. They don't build things, but they have real influence over what gets funded and prioritized. Then we also have the executive arm, or Regenesis Labs. This is the newest part of the DAO, and it's still growing. They run day-to-day operations and strategy like events, creations, creator tools, onboarding, communication, and more. Think of them as a DAO's doing arm. They are hired by the council and funded by the DAO and expected to deliver transparently. How much power they actually have depends on what they achieve and how engaged the community stays. So yes, the DAO holds power over funding, structure, and also strategy, but in practice, power flows through different layers. Whales influence voting, council approves key decisions, the executive arm does the execution, and the community only holds power if it shows up and speaks up. So it is decentralized, but also complex, and it's evolving. We are coming to the last round now. It's the users. So the reason everything here exists. And yeah, that's us. The ones who show up, build, play, organize, support, post, vote, or sometimes we just vibe. So often we are seen as the audience, but actually many users are the engine, like they're hosting events, building scenes, code tools, create variables, share updates, moderate discords, onboard others, of course, and give feedback, push ideas, and also raise flags. So even if you don't build, your presence still creates value in this space. Every login is one more active user, every event visit is a signal to creators, every upvote, retweet, comment shapes the culture, and every person you support directs attention and energy. And here's the thing. The foundation builds because users access. The DAO governs because there's a world to govern. Without users, there's no Decentraland, period. So it's not a symbolic power, it's foundational. So users shape the demand, the vibe, and the growth, and kind of the meaning of it all. And that's some real power too. And in my opinion, we should learn how to use it. So let's talk about it. And now we're coming to the fun part, to the open discussion. I would really love to talk about with you about this. So, who, in your opinion, holds the power in the Decentraland? Is it the foundation? Is it the DAO? At the user? All of them? In the end, none of them? Feel free to share your thoughts, request a mic, drop something in the comments, or use the UI in-world to ask your questions. We are also streaming to Twitch if you would like to see what's going on. So yeah, power exits, but only if we use it. So who actually using it right now? Let's open the floor. And we don't have that many speakers, potential speakers right now next. So yes, Kimbo, the mic is on X. So if you would like to talk with me, please request. And I see we're having, oh no, we don't have a request yet. And please, friends, be gentle with me. This is my second X space. So maybe it's not going to be perfect, but we're trying. Okay. Let's see. We have one request. Hello, hello. I see Kimbo and also last room. I'm going to approve you both as a speaker. Give me a second. Approved, approved. There we are. So, hello. I don't know who was first. So, maybe let's start with Kimbo. Hello.
Hi, great job for your second space. You figured out how to add speakers.
It's a way to learn for me here, but I'm happy to learn with everyone here. So, Kimbo, can you give us a brief introduction for everyone who maybe don't know who you are?
Yes, totally. So I'm Kim. I am the head of marketing and partnerships at the foundation. So that includes kind of all in-world events in the physical world events, and then all of our growth efforts moving forward.
Awesome. So, what do you think? Who holds the power in the center? And because this is the topic we're talking about today.
Totally. I don't think it's one group. Like it's multifaceted. We're kind of like a three-legged stool, I guess you would say. Like we don't like there's no point in building a world that has no people in it, right? So like obviously users have an immense power there. I think the DAO has that opportunity to like keep that protocol power in check and the longevity and the future of the platform, because that is the long-term plan, right? That everything gets turned over and becomes fully community run and owned. Um, and I think it's important that we have all three divisions. It's not traditional in any way, and that adds a lot of complexities, but I really feel each group has its own unique power and purpose, and sometimes that's hard to define what is the purpose of each side. But I actually think you did a really good job, Toxic, of explaining, like, for us it's really about building the infrastructure in a way that people can build on top of it to the best of their abilities and really make that as open and as possible, but also making at least one really great working function that we can use to grow the platform and hold the IP and build relationships from an awareness and brand recognition standpoint.
Hmm. So, from the outside, it could look like that the foundation has the most of the power or is the most powerful
Hmm.
entity because simply they maintain the only client. So, do you have an opinion on that?
That is totally true today. Like we have the desktop client that is the primary use case of Decentraland right now, but there's so much amazing work happening with the mobile version, the VR version, and what the teams are doing. And I think it's really important that we have those other versions that exist. And I think over time, being able to share learnings across the two and be able to work together is critical to our success. The reason for anyone that may be newer, but we built the desktop client instead of having both is just we needed to have one area of focus to be able to really build. We have a very small team, even though people think of Decentraland and they assume like we have a marketing team of 20 and 100 devs and all of this, but like in total across every operation operational part we're 60 max, I think.
Hmm.
Marketing is only 3 of us full time. We have a few part-time people that help here and there. But it's a really small team, and so being able to pick one thing, put our eggs in that basket and like double down and then let the DAO and the community build up what they think is missing or what they're really excited about is an important part of this future.
Thank you for that. And you can come on stage if you're in world, because all the speakers are getting getting the
Oh, how
opportunity.
fancy.
Yeah. So we have Mahedi in world, and I would like to come to last round after Mahedi's comment. So Mahedi is saying in world, for me, at least for now, the foundation is building the official client and owns the Decentraland brand, so they have the power. Okay, thank you very much, Mahedi, for this take. Last round, what is your opinion on our overall topic today?
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. Hopefully you can hear me.
Can hear you good.
Okay. I think the foundation has all of the control as a developer in the space since 2019. They have all of the control of the platform, the client, all of the features. They control all of everything. Yeah, that's the short answer.
Okay, this was a very short answer because I would like to understand and go more deep into this, because I said
Sure.
if you would like to elaborate, this
Yeah,
would be awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
Here's an example. How much of the platform is being worked on versus the client by the foundation. And I don't know if people know the difference. And so, as a developer, if the foundation, what you just sort of like summarized was the foundation is working on the platform and the DAO is the governance and the users are kind of a part of the DAO but using the platform. So, the platform is things like the SDK that you develop in, right? The platform would be the creator hub, sort of ways to build, right? And then the client is how you access that platform, right? And so the foundation is building the platform and also building the most visible client. So they control both of those, but they don't include anybody else in those decision makings. So, for instance, the platform, when the client, okay, so there's two different things. When the client was teased, do you guys remember how you could jump really high and run really fast, right? That was viewing a platform feature, which is called locomotion, okay? So, locomotion as a platform feature has not been enabled at all. It's been however long since that demo, and we can't access that. We, being developers, people who want to access the platform, can't. So that's one of my biggest like highlights about the foundation controlling everything is they're giving us the abilities, but also giving us the way to access those abilities. And we just don't have any way of saying, hey, how much are you putting towards improving the abilities like physics, swimming, jumping really fast, jumping really high, slowing people down versus how we access.
Thank you very much for this insight. And yes, I think the main client. This is a really huge topic today, and maybe the whole discussion is useless because in the end, the foundation is owning the one client that we're all using. I think it's still very important to talk about it because right now we are experiencing, at least this is what I feel, a little bit of a change in the Decentraland, also through what's happening in the DAO, in the Regenesis labs. They are working on new clients. And I think it's very interesting to see how this develops over time. So, Lars, thank you very much for coming up and speak. If you have anything to add, please feel free. Is anyone else in the audience here on X willing to share their opinion? Because I would love to hear many, many different opinions. I saw that W.T.F came as a listener in. Please feel free to request if you would like to join the space. And I see on X on the Decentraland, no new questions so far. So friends, if you're on the Decentraland, please feel free to share your opinion. And I see Prater is saying, we talk about accountability. What does the foundation think we lost users and who's accountable to the grow base? And I would like to give Kim the opportunity to answer on this, if you feel free with this, Kim, because I'm very happy that you're here talking with us. But yeah, so if you like, Kimbo,
Sure.
the mic is yours.
Yeah. So I think on who is accountable to grow the base, that is definitely one of the jobs that we have. But I think everyone can help to do that. You all are amazing builders, showing off what you're building and the work you do. Toxic does an amazing job of this, like explaining. Lastrom does too. I see all the work on the forge. Like showcasing what you're building is an exciting way to teach people what's inside. But from a like spending marketing dollars to grow the platform, that's 100% something that we do and have started doing since January.
Awesome, thank you. Since we're talking about power, I would also like to talk about how is the English word? Sorry, I need to Google really fast. I think it's the indifference of power that some have way more power than others. Like at the moment, is it like, as I said, many users in the center and creators are doing stuff, but there is an Unausgeglichenheit. I need to Google. I'm sorry. For everyone who's listening, I'm German, so English is my second language. And the word I was searching for is imbalance. There's kind of an imbalance in the center because we are people building and not getting paid. And we have the foundation, we have the DAO, we Genesis steps. So people against, on the other side from us, who are getting paid. And I think this is an imbalance that we should also talk about. But I saw that Last Realm is raising his hand, and I see Anna came up as a speaker. So Last Realm, please feel free. The stage is yours.
Oh no, I was just going to ask. With the accountability, it's an interesting question because you mentioned there's other clients, ways to access the platform, right? And they're not all the same, right? The features in the mobile do not equal the features in the foundation client, and vice versa. So there are things you can do in the Decentraland foundation client that you can and can't do in the mobile. And to my knowledge, there isn't any crossover of compatibility in terms of like, hey, we're going to work on this. Are you going to work on this too? Hey, we want to do this. Are you going to do that too? Right. So it's kind of like little silos, little islands that the foundation is working on things. And then a group of people work on something else. And they get highlighted as we just did, saying, oh, there's a mobile client, there's a VR client, there's another client. But the means of access are not the same. And I think that's a huge problem with just decentralization in general, but also very crippling to Decentraland, is there is no communication or accountability to bring the same features across clients, right? Like if you access Roblox on a computer, it's going to be the same on mobile, right? Pretty much in terms of what you can do. Like you can double jump, you can do that, right? But Decentraland, maybe you can double jump on the mobile version, but you can't on the desktop. And it's kind of a head scratcher. And that gets to I just wanted to highlight about accountability and ownership because it just keeps getting fractured.
Thank you
Can I
very
jump on that, Toxic? Is that okay?
Yes, of course. Jump on it.
Yeah, I totally agree, Lastrom. I mean, as much as we can make them as similar in the ways we want them to be similar from a functionality standpoint, that would be great. We are now, since Regenesis Labs is set up and they're funding that development, we do have weekly meetings with them, which was not something that was being had in the past. So I can't speak from the tech side because I'm not as ingrained in all of that, but I know as much as we can info share and build together, the teams are trying to do that. But that structure is just getting set up now.
Thank you very much for this. And to come back to what you guys are talking about, multi-NFT in-world is also, I think, kind of the same topic as Lastro mentioned. DCL Foundation, when I asked the question about the mobile app, I got an answer that Foundation don't support the mobile VR. I think we talked about this. But if a DAO will have full control of the foundation in a few years, as multi-NFT saying, why not support each other? And I think Kimbo already mentioned in-world that they are working closely with Gino. Gino is the executive director of the Regenesis Labs. As much as possible now that it's all set up. So everyone in-world, please feel free if you don't feel comfy sharing on X, just drop it in the chat. And you also have the possibility to use the Tox menu and just submit your questions there so we have them on the big screen behind us. Okay, Lastrom, I see your hand is up. Is this still
No, it should be down.
Oh, okay, sorry. So Anna, I saw that you came up as a speaker. We're talking about who holds the power in the Decentraland, DAO, foundation, or users, and I would love to hear your opinion on this.
Thanks, Toxic. Nice to see Lastrom here and everybody, Kim. Definitely from my point of view, it feels like the foundation has a little too much power over how things play out in Decentraland. I mean, the DAO can fund things that the community wants to build, and in the past they did that through grants. Now we have Regenesis Labs, and that will build things to complement the platform. But at least in my experience, if the foundation changes something at the platform level, it can kind of break things that were built by the community and in some cases funded by the DAO, especially if it's built using the SDK rather than built as like an extension of the platform. And I think in a lot of cases, if something breaks, it is kind of a surprise for the community developers, and then they have to put in extra work to kind of collaborate with the foundation to see if it's something on their end they need to fix, or if it's something on the foundation's end that needs to be fixed. And then another problem I see is that, to be honest, I'm not sure how easy it is for somebody to just get in and learn how to contribute on a platform level. A lot of people have experience with the SDK because that's kind of, I would say, documented a little bit better and is written in a language, or it uses a language, coding language that a lot more people would find kind of entry level. And it just, as a developer, it feels like contributing on a platform level is a far more complex system to navigate. So I would like to see more power in the hands of the community and even in the DAO, but it does feel like people are often surprised with some new change that happens at the platform level by the foundation, and sometimes that can. I know, at least in my experience, it made it kind of not worth it to continue working on a project because there are just so many roadblocks. So that's kind of my take.
Thank you very much, Anna. And I see we have a question in Word, so let's check it out. So everyone in Word, please use the UI and submit your questions so that I don't miss anything that you're saying in the Word chat. And the first question that we're having is, I can see it. Okay. So it's from Prater. Does that mean Regenesis Lab is going to take care of the future development of mobile VR desktop clients? And if no one here wants to answer that, yes, they are. So I can send you some of the proposals and some of the links from the foundation, from the forum site, sorry, after this, if you like Creator. So thanks for the question. And do we have someone in the X space that would like to share their opinion? Maybe give another thought, because as I said, I see that Weather TV is here, and Biometer had a very nice comment on the last episode of W.T.F DCL, where he mentioned that the community has much power since they choose how they want to support with their attention, with how they attend events. And I would like to get your opinion on this via TV. Also, I see Sinful Meatsticks is as a listener with us and also Inward. So if you would like to add something Sinful, would be very valuable, since you're having your own events since years in the center and also a big part of the Decentraland community building. Would be awesome to get you here. Yeah, and I see we have so far no new speakers, and Kimber was saying Inward, in the future when Foundation is no longer in existence, that is the hope that they own them all. So, okay, friends. Anyone from the speakers that are up right now that would like to add something? Should I maybe bring in a spicy take? Oh, I see a requested speaker. And Sinful, you're up as a speaker. Did someone from you open your mic? Because I heard someone breathing.
No, I was just gonna. I had my hand up. I didn't know if you could see it. Toxic.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, I the foundation handing things over. I've heard conflicting things with that. And if you want a spicy take, is that I don't believe the foundation is going to willingly hand over everything at the desired time frame that was set in the original sort of memo. I don't think that's going to happen. That's just my opinion. They have their own money. They're building a product. Whether there's, I mean, look, Samsung did 34,000 people in one day in 2022, right? We built that scene. The foundation was building the platform. There's now 33 people at once in the platform, and the foundation is still building. And so I just don't see how the users have any say in that. There's no, if 30,000 people walk away, the foundation is still building. And so I just don't see, I would love to be wrong that they are going to give it away.
so Inward, we have AKA Heroes that is saying, I'm agreeing with you last round. So thank you very much for that insight. I saw that Sinful is coming up. So Sinful, what is your opinion? Who holds the power on the sentiment? Is it the DAO Foundation or is it reusers?
To tell you the truth, at least this is like to my understanding. And this would be an answer that I would get very frequently back in 2021, and it would just frustrate me until I actually understood it. And it was like, oh, if you don't like how Decentraland looks right now, why don't you make your own? Everything's in the GitHub. It's Decentraland. It's a protocol, and you could just build your own. That used to piss me off so much because I loved the Decentraland that was already there, and but like in all honesty, if someone wanted to spin up a Decentraland version and made it better than what is currently there, I'm sure Decentraland officially would hit him up and be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you? Oh, I'm sorry. What the heck are you doing to make it so good?" And then collaborate. That's in my perfect world, at least. Um, who holds the power? I mean, right now, it's definitely the foundation. Like everything that we do has to be kind of like within the realms of possibility of like what has been made available, like at least for the developers. Go ahead, Lestrom.
Oh, no, I was just going to raise my hand after to follow up on that comment.
Oh, Yeah. Well, I mean, I was finishing up. Like, yeah, me as my name is Sinful. I'm a show host of Beyond the NFT, co-founder of Community Building Decentraland. You know, when it comes to show hosting, I can live my best life on Decentraland. Like, um, you know, I require a place to stream, like a home, a location, a headquarters, in my case for Beyond the NFT, and a screen. And then from there, like the infrastructure is there for me to use and be able to stream my shows. Now I could take it a bit further, build my land out, learn how to build it, and customize it and make it my own, like kind of. But yeah, like kind of comments from a knower. Once you want to contribute in a like platform level, then it becomes a lot more complicated.
Thank you for the insights, Sinful. And since we have you up as a speaker, I have a question for you, because you were also a delegate in the DAO, or you still are. So other people, other users can give can give you their voting power, so you can vote for them. And I would love to ask you, who's more powerful, someone with 3 million voting power, or someone who brings 30 people to every event? And I know this is very spicy, like yeah, but I would really love to know your opinion on this. So who has more power, the people with voting power, or someone who actually brings people into the world and interact with it?
One person with, I mean, we've seen it many times. One person with 2 million voting power is more powerful than any amount of, like, you know community, or person that can like bring a crowd. And I mean, here's an example. Very early, like in 2021, when we were trying to get Rustan a like POI star, it was only 500K voting power that was needed. And me and all the streamers and everyone that we could, like, tried to rally, try to get like so many votes in for like this POI star. But at the very end of it, it was just it didn't pass. We had hundreds of votes in that, yes votes in that, but didn't pass until Rustan had to go and talk to a whale and then get passed.
So maybe in the end, the people with power are the ones who know the whales. Okay, so thank you very much, Sinful.
Yeah, right.
It's a hot topic. I'm very happy that we're talking about it. I see we have 3 questions in Word, so let's have a look. This one is from, and I'm sorry that I can't pronounce your name good, Kairos. This one is coming from Grigor Lezin. Mobile and VR are lipstick on a dead pig. Users don't need more platforms, they need reasons to come back. And while this isn't a question, it's a really strong statement, and I see many reactions on this in Word. So friends, you can also drop some emojis in Word to give your opinion on this. So thank you very, very much, Gregor. And this one is from aka Horus. What keeps Regenesis from falling into the same pitfalls or stagnancy that the Foundation has dealt with for the past half decade? And to be honest, this is a question I find very interesting, because Sinful, you just elaborated on these unbalanced voting power that we have in the old, or we had in the old DAO. I think it's still there, but now we have the council, we have Regenesis Labs. Sinful, do you think this will change something, or is it still the same problem with the same whales?
I mean, I think that is still yet to be determined. I don't feel like the new structure has gained any traction just yet. Like don't get me wrong, they've been working. The progress has been posted, but it's like it feels like just like recently they just got funded. So I mean, I think that is something that is to be determined, and I am, I'm keeping an open mind to see what comes. Yeah, I'm not even sure to like how any like community voting will be, or how community voting would be implemented in this new system.
There is none. I mean, that's why we elected the community and the council, right? The council. I just wanted to interject because it kind of hits on both things where the power is. The new Regenesis is probably going to go the same way. It's no longer decentralized or autonomous, right? I mean, it is. We should probably stop calling it the DAO. They even changed their name to Regenesis Labs. So we should start using that because it's operating more like a company or an organization than a DAO. Because users don't vote on anything anymore. The council approves things. And so they're off and running, building things. But it gets back to the other approach where the DAO can only do things that sit on top of the platform. They don't actually influence the platform. And here's a very good example of what I talked about earlier. So if the DAO, Regenesis Labs wants to enable locomotion. So like, hey, developers, you can now have your set the speed for how fast your avatar runs. If the Regenesis Labs worked on that code, who would have the last say to make it part of the platform? And it's semi-rhetorical because it is the foundation. So as much as the new Regenesis Labs does, there is still the final approval on platform things from the foundation. So how much can the DAO actually do, the Regenesis Labs actually do? Maybe some marketing, hire people to build some cool scenes and things, but they can't actually improve the platform without the foundation. So it all gets back to the foundation owning that authority. And my biggest stomach turn with the foundation is what they're working on with that authority. Because, for instance, everybody loves the marketplace credits, right? It's fantastic. Everybody loved the little daily quest stuff, right? Fantastic. Another rhetorical question, is any of that open source to the developer community? No. So the foundation, therefore, again, retains full authority in what is a daily quest, who gets marketplace credits, how they're divided up, all of that. And that is not open to developers. So my question as a developer is like, where is that in the priority of the foundation's main goal, right? The foundation's goal is what we talked about at the early outset, to build the platform, right? So if you're building marketplace credits and you're building daily quests and you log in, you get the little checkbox, whatever, how much of that as a decentralized open source platform should be available to its developer community? Because none of it is. And it's a tough thing because the users can't do anything about it. The Regenesis Labs can't do anything about it. And the foundation is not including the developers about it.
Thank you very much for this insight, Lastram. Just to give a little bit of background information, Regenesis Labs is the executive arm of the DAO, so they were established as part of the DAO's restructuring and were hired by the DAO Council. Their role is to execute the strategies and manage operations based on priorities, and the Council oversees Regenesis Labs, approves the budget, and manages the executive director position. So Regenesis Labs does not replace the DAO. They operate within as an implementation layer, but I totally get your point last round. So thank you very much for sharing this. I see some user in world are contributing to the discussion. Miguel Amago is saying many discussions before were depending a lot on people that barely engage or build. Voting power distribution sucks, should not because of how rich you are. And Parsival Kazuto is also saying, one person, one vote is literally the easiest solution. Proposals should just be passed or denied purely of amount of yes and no votes. And I see we also have a new question in world. And the discussion is hot. So friends, in world, please use the submit a question so I don't oversee anything that you're saying. And yeah, let's see what question we have. Inworld. J. King is asking, any plans for a more user-friendly tool for creating emotes or variables? And Kimbo, if you could give some insights on this would be awesome. If I could just give this question to you.
I do not know that answer on a emotes and wearables front. I don't believe so. I know they're mostly working on the creator hub on the scene side at the moment, but I can double check.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. So I see Prater is in world. We need the foundation to actually work on real partnerships like Apple. Okay, this is a hot take. So, okay, I see much communication happening in world. If anyone would like to come up as a speaker, I'm super thankful for Sinful, Kimbo, Lars and also Anna that you're sharing your opinions here. I know it's not always easy to talk about hot topics, but if anyone else would like to join, please feel free. I would love to hear as many different opinions on this very huge topic as possible. And I think we already talked about foundation. We talked about the DAO side. I would like to go a little bit deeper into the user side. So as a user, do we really have some kind of power? Because as we already mentioned, in the DAO, yes, we have the new layers of Regenesis Labs of the council. We have the whales. So how much power do we really have in the DAO? In the foundation, we are much depending on their decisions. So what can we as user maybe do? I see Anna is raising his hand. So last time, I'm not sure if you raised your hand again or if it's still raised.
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, maybe my X is a little bit cursed. So I saw Anna, so please take the mic.
Thanks, Toxic. So I wanted to talk about sort of an interesting case study with the map. So the overhead map was originally a DAO-funded community project, and from what I understand from some of the chats in the DAO Discord, it was kind of implemented into the official client by the foundation, um, but since has kind of fallen into a state of disrepair, I guess you could say, uh, because the original developer that was working on it uh, kind of wasn't able to fund the infrastructure anymore, or something along those lines. And I guess there was just a communication breakdown between the developer and the foundation that kind of ended with the overhead map being kind of outdated now. And Gino kind of spoke a little bit on this problem in the recent DAO town hall. And that problem is that there a lot of projects no longer have any upgrade path or a way to continue now that the grants have gone away. And while I don't want to make this all about my own personal project, which was Virtual Land Manager, or VLM for short, all I can really do is speak from my own experience. And for me, um, there was a lot of changes, big platform level changes, like when the release of the new client, or rolling out SDK 7, or switching from multiple different realms to one singular main realm, have caused kind of ripple effects that that have affected things that were built by the community, and in some cases funded by the DAO. And a lot of these changes required a lot of communication between us community developers and the foundation developers to know if it was an issue that needed to be fixed within the SDK, or if it was something that needed to be fixed within a community developer's code or implementation. Um, and Kimbo had asked in the chat if that was, sorry, Kim, Kimbo's her username, in Decentraland. She had asked if that was an ongoing issue, or if it was something that eventually got resolved. And unfortunately for me, the answer was that it just kind of left me stuck, not sure what to do. Um, it was kind of like, for me, the dilemma was, do I do a whole bunch of extra work that I didn't scope in my original grant, and just find the time for that? Uh, at the time I was dealing with a lot of family health issues, and and it felt overwhelming. Like, oh great, just one more thing that I need to worry about right now. And that's kind of my own problem. I can't expect the foundation or anybody to fix that for me. But my dilemma was, do I do a bunch of extra work, or do I kind of shut the project down and then give funds back to the DAO, whatever was remaining? And in my case, I had already paid taxes on the grant funds, uh, because I have to pay taxes to my in-world government, unfortunately. And I'm not really sure how I could have better planned for that, but it just made me feel like it kind of left me feeling, a little bit like I was set up to fail, not purposely, but it just felt like, um, I don't know, I don't know quite how to say it, but I just felt a little bit screwed over, I guess.
Okay, I think this is a problem that can happen to many of us, or maybe this feeling is something that we all knew, that we're getting screwed over. I think this is something that happens. It's not good. Sorry, I'm keeping a little bit of track right now in the chat because I asked the question what the community thinks that we have in world right now. We have 22 users. Hello to everyone. So happy to have you here. And I asked it what they are thinking. Do we as a user have power? And if no, what needs to change? And if yes, how does it look? I see many no's here. And Miguel Amago is saying, power to bring people, sure, but power to decision, not much. Smoke is saying community votes need to be taken into account. And Parsival Kazuto, I hope I pronounced this right, is saying any changes we try to vote on will be instantly outvoted by foundation friendly rails. And Creator is adding, I believe users have the power, but our user base is so small it doesn't work. More users will democratize the power whose foundation should, and I think here that's something lost in translation. Yeah, and also I see many our votes mean nothing, and also Prater is adding rails are part of the ecosystem. We will always have them. We need to work on having more users to balance the rails. This is, of course, a way to do it. And Smoke is also adding, ultimately, the foundation should present polls on the community to vote on, not present polls for them to vote against the community. And this is the overall discussion that we're having right now. And I see Master Reigns has a question, and I hope she has put it in the UI. So let me check. And here is it. Okay, I hope everyone is ready for the question. Oh, Sinful, sorry, I saw your mic got up. Do you want to add something?
No, no, yeah. Before you went to the question, I just wanted to ask: did you say Parsival Kazuto is in world right now?
Yes, he is.
Oh my God, that's one of the OG homies, dude. Welcome back. I mean, I think this is my first time seeing you in in a while. Check out his shoe line in the marketplace. Ask him about it. Anyway, sorry, back to you,
Everything
Toxic.
is good. You're sitting like 6 sponge chairs next to him, Sinful. How couldn't you see him? Sheesh.
I'm outside right
Oh,
now.
okay. So, friends, the Mew is AFK. If you want to make some sneaky pictures, do it now. Okay, back to the topic. Master Waynes asked a question. Do you feel you can get in touch with the foundation if you want to? And this is a very, very nice question. And it's kind of strange that it's coming from someone that is working for foundation, because this is a question I would suppose from the users here. And it's a question to be honest, I have on my little sheet here where I'm wrote down some question I would like to ask everyone. And yeah, do we feel that we can get in touch with the foundation if we want to? And to be honest, I have an opinion on this, but I would love first to hear what you all are saying. So anyone here in the speakers on X that would like to add, or anyone in world, feel free. I see last.
If Blastrom doesn't open his mic, I could definitely speak
Yes,
on it.
please, Sinful. I see some hands open, but I think my X space is cursed today. So sorry for that. Sinful, just continue.
Yeah, for me, I see Lastrom's hand is up. But I was gonna say I feel like Kim, Dr. Krillo, and Master Waynes have been working very, very hard to make themselves available to everyone that they come across. now. And I see the hard work that is being done, and I feel like it's up to, like, even the people that know about Kim, Dr. Krillo, Massa Waynes, to spread the word to newer users. Like, hey, if you're having an issue, hit this person up. Like, don't gatekeep the name or anything like that. Like, I feel like back in the day there was like all the cool kids like tried to keep all the foundation names like all secret. It's like, oh yeah, I can contact them whenever I want, but you got to hit me up. But whatever. Anyway, ego. Uh, so I think it's up to us to just spread the word about the resources. And I'm sorry, Kim, to refer to you as a resource, but like, yeah, the resources that the foundation has like put here for us. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Sinful. Oh, last one, sorry, just give me a second. Thank you very much, Sinful. I think, yeah, you're right. It's also a development that I see in the last, let's say, 1.5 years, when I remember when I first joined.
It's
Yeah,
recent.
when I first joined Decentraland, it was nearly impossible to get in contact with the foundation. Maybe if we were lucky over the X account, but this was also it was a challenge. So no, I think we have a little bit different. We have masterminds, we have Kimbo involved with us. I also saw Dr. Quillo earlier in the space. So there definitely is some sort of way to reach out. The only thing that I would like to add from my personal point of view is maybe we have the possibility to reach out, but how can we hold them accountable if we have a question that maybe we don't get an answer that we would like to hear, or maybe how does it even get transparent? Because only because I asking a question and someone is answering it, this is not transparent. In my opinion, we should have a structure where we really can reach out, where it's somehow written down. User XY has asked this question. This is the answer from the foundation. This is something that I would ask for and I would wish for. But this is my hot take. And last time, before I come to you, I would just keep an eye on the invite chat because it's kind of on fire right now. I see multi-NFT said a little bit earlier, as a builder, to which platform I should build for. If I build on the foundation client, will it work on the DAO client? Are they using SDK 7? Great question. Master Waynes, okay, I see. Gregory the Sane is saying, I had a FaceTime with Dr. Quillo, so yes, we can get in touch, and so did many other users. So there's no detachment from users. And I see Master Waynes wants to ask a follow-up question. MGD, please help. Multi-NFT is also saying, yeah, Dr. Quillo is a legend. It's really, really helpful. And I think this was the most. So last round, thank you for waiting, and feel free, and everyone else, just come up as a speaker if you want to add.
Yeah, thanks. I think there's two distinctions to make. The user community needs to be split between users and developers, and that always has been a misalignment since 2019. And then the other distinction, getting in touch, and this is where I think you were going with it, Toxic, doesn't, I mean, it's great to get in touch. It's great. But I've been a broken record about being proactive versus reactive. And I would almost just rather have the foundation say, we're going to work on everything and you guys are going to get it. Instead of like, hey, what kind of features do you guys want to have or whatever? There is no accountability. It gets back to the foundation controls everything. So I keep using examples like the locomotion. It's been a year since it was displayed and demoed that you could run faster or jump higher. But where has that been on the priority of foundation things versus like improving the camera or bringing back old features like private chats and badges, right? Like we as users can't hold people accountable for that. And it gets back to the getting in touch is fantastic. You can reach out to Krillo or Kim or Master Wayne's, no problem. But that doesn't mean that they're going to work on locomotion or physics or prioritize. As a developer, right, a part of that user group, I would hope if I'm in the community developing that somebody from the foundation in the decentralized open source network would be like, hey, developers, what are some features you would like to see us work on, right? And maybe 10 get raised, right? And the foundation gets back together with their team and they say, hey guys, there's some 10 really good ideas from the developer community. What if we tried to implement 1 or 2 of them in the next cycle? And that happens. Currently, that doesn't happen at all. So it's fantastic to get in touch, but that to me is reactionary and misses a huge, huge opportunity to advance the platform.
Thank you very much, Last Jump. So you think that we should difference because the space is called Towards Pound Decentraland DAO Foundation or users, and you would say that the users needs to be, and I'm sorry for my English skills, the user needs to be separated into the groups of users and also developers. Did I understood this right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we just cobble everybody who is not foundation and not a DAO member as like a user. And that's very far from the truth. We have people that are just creators. There are people that are just wearable creators. There are people that, like myself, I will be honest, I don't use the platform that much, but I love being creative and building. So I'm a developer, right? So am I a user or am I a developer? And then there's just peer users. People want to go in there and experience things, right, that are built by whoever. And so I think there's if you're building an open source decentralized platform built by, your slogan is built and owned and managed by its users, there needs to be some sort of connection to that subgroup of developers when you're building that platform. At least that's just my perspective.
So I see Kim raised her hand. I would like to add, okay, so in my opinion, I see the user in the Decentraland as builders, everyone, because everyone is built. I see your point that you're bringing up from the dev side, and I totally value this insight that you're giving. But is it building if you're doing I don't know, if you're building a build, place, some content in world, or are you also building when you attend other users' events? I think this is a very interesting topic, and we could probably talk about this hours because I really love it. But I want to hear the opinion from Kimbo. So Kimbo, please feel free.
Oh, I just wanted to add on to what Lastrom said around splitting users and developers, and completely agree. And that's something we've been talking about a lot, is like we have the support team who can help to some extent the developers, but they're not like developers and coders. And that was the hope with bringing Dr. Krillo on. Again, he's only been here a few months, but to really be that person that can gather all that feedback from the developers, collect it all, work with them to prioritize and be like, okay, we heard our creators need all these things. What can get done that helps them build best? I know he's working on that. So if anyone is a developer and hasn't spoken to him yet, definitely do that, because that is the plan with his role. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear to anyone that may not know or has not spoken with him yet. But that is the point of him being able to say, I'm talking to creators. These are their challenges. These are the things they want. And that's an open door for anyone to reach out
Yeah,
to
that's
him.
great.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much, Kimbo.
he's been amazing, Kim. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
late. Having that
yeah, no,
role is late,
because
but
well,
Sorry, I
trying to rectify it.
yeah,
don't want
because
to interrupt, just to bring some organization to this. Kimbo, I know that there are office hours from Dr. Krillo. When are they? I don't have it on my shield right now.
I'll drop it in chat. Let me find it
Thank you
really quick
very
so I
much,
don't
because I see user and
misspeak.
sorry for interrupting you last round. I just see that the chat inward is has many questions. So Preta is asking, how do we get in touch with the foundation? I'm sure Kimbo or Master Waynes can answer that. And Miguel is saying, yeah, it's kind of hard to trust foundation's promises. The new client looks definitely better and more stable, but like, where are the smart variables? Parsifal Kazuto is adding, we have the forum, but they can just choose to ignore or put down posts on the forum. The lack of accountability theme. And Multi-NFT is saying, you need users to build for. At the end, to build sorry. So at the end, to build for an empty world is nice, but you can just build on Unity your own platform. Devs users and normal users need each other. And Kimbo just dropped the office hours. And I also see we have 2 questions I would like to really see for short. We have a question by Derek. Contacting the foundation feels pointless for anything serious. Numerous bugs and ideas are already reported on GitHub, Kenny, and on Discord. People like the camera. It took over 6 months to be in the new client. And thank you very much for this insight, Derek. I think this is how many users are feeling, that when they are submitting things on, especially Kenny. So yeah, thanks for bringing this perspective up too. I'm gonna write it down so we can come back a little bit later to it. And I see MultiNFT submitted also a question. As a builder, to which platform I should build for? Okay, I think this question already got risen, so maybe we can answer this now real quick. As a builder, to which platform I should build for? If I build on the foundation client, will it work on the DAO clients? Are they using SDK7? This is super interesting. I think we have no one right now in the listeners or here with us in world that can answer that. Maybe Kimbo, do you have any insights on this?
Sorry, on the builder. So I was answering questions in world. On the which platform should I build for, that one?
Yes.
If you're building with SDK 7, everything should render everywhere, to my knowledge. But if that's not
No.
happening, Lastrom, I don't know. You probably can speak to that better than I can.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can't, and that's a concern because uh, just I think somebody brought up smart wearables, right? The new client is fantastic, but who's to say that the foundation is not going to build a brand new one in a year like they did last year? And it gets to the point of where do you build? What do you build for? A DAO project was using custom world servers, and that worked in the browser, right? Even with the browser SDK 7. And then the client gets released by the foundation, SDK 7, and it does not support custom world servers. So the DAO spent 6 figures building a product that is now rendered useless. And there was no communication from the foundation to the DAO, from the foundation to the team building the product, that, hey, guys, we're not going to support this in the future. There was no communication at all. And so it's anybody's guess. And I think that's why there are like 2 developers left, because no one knows what's going to happen in a year from now. I mean, it took me personally 8 months from canny to getting implemented, just a drop down UI bug to be fixed. Very low on the totem pole priority wise, I understand that, but if that's the backlog of things, developers are going to get tired really quick and go to other platforms that have fully integrated environments. They might not have the camera feature and they might not have the private chat feature, but they will probably have physics and locomotion and things like that. So my personal experience is I was on that team that built something and spent months of my time working on to have zero communication from the DAO or the foundation telling me, hey, this isn't going to work anymore. I mean, that's pretty frustrating stuff. That's why I stepped away completely from trying to influence the platform. And I'm just building on my own with whatever tools I have, because I really don't know what it's going to be like in the next 6 months, because no one tells you.
Thank you very much, Lastram. I saw Anna's hand rising up, Kimbo's also. I don't know who was first. If you want to answer directly on Lastram, please let me know.
Mine's not up, so you're good.
Very good. Okay, Anna, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I do want to give credit where credit's due. I was really impressed to see the addition of the dev relations position, I guess. And it's great to see that we have sort of a dedicated person to go to now for questions related to the SDK and contributing to the platform. I think there's still going to be uh, a sort of friction point that's a little bit harder to solve, and I don't know what the answer to this is, but um, for me, one of the main problems has always been that I have a full-time job, and I'm also located pretty close to where a lot of the foundation developers are located as far as time zone goes. So when they're on and available to help, a lot of times I can't attend the office. I haven't been able to attend the office hours before And I have in the past, before the dev relations position existed, I had trouble finding times where I could communicate with the foundation and get help on things, just because uh, I was working this as sort of like I guess a hobby after my first job was over. So I was working nights, and then the foundation team obviously works a more like conventional schedule, whether that's 8 to 5, 8 to 4, or 9 to 5, or whatever. You know, um, so I don't know. For me, it became really easy to get burnt out when I'm spending a whole day at one job, and then uh, trying to get enjoyment out of out of building for Decentraland, when there's roadblocks and difficulties coming up that I can't always get addressed right away. So it I don't know how to fix this, like I said, but I think there will always be the capability to get burnt out trying to spend a whole lot of time as just a community developer, kind of doing this just out of the love for it. I know I've experienced burnout because of this. I'm pretty sure Lastrom has experienced burnout because of this. It sounds like so. I wish there was a way to sort of incentivize people based on whatever they're able to contribute. That doesn't end up in us taking on sort of unexpected workloads and kind of feeling burnt out, or just like we're kind of the lower man on the totem pole, I guess.
Okay, I think we lost last round as a speaker. If you want to add something last round, please come up. Kimbo, I saw your mic.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I was just gonna say on nowhere. I totally hear that, and we've talked about it a lot of like super hard when we have builders across the world to have 24-hour like support, but that's why Dr. Krillo is trying to do at least 2 time slots, and I know it's not ideal for everyone, but we're definitely thinking about that. Like if we're having people build across the world, having someone this came up with Cheddar Queso a few times of like she was like after class I'm building, but then the support team's offline, and if I get stuck I lost my whole working time. So totally hear that
Exactly.
and sympathize with that. And I know like many people here are hobby builders and like have a full-time traditional time job that overlaps with like other people. We cover, I think it's about like 17 hours in a day, but there is that window still that we're trying to figure out. And we're hiring and just working on it, but totally heard and understood for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, I forgot to even mention the fact that there's people across all time zones. So even if I was on the other side of the world, that maybe it would be different. But that that's kind of why it's such a hard problem to solve. I think is we really can't expect you guys to have 24-hour support. I don't know if that's completely reasonable. Unless you have like a huge team of people, which just isn't feasible right now. So. Um, and just kind of putting ideas out there of where I see the friction points, and it feels a little bit like I'm nitpicking at times, but
No, no, I think that, I mean, that's totally valid. And we know, like, if we want to have a global community of builders, a global community of users, we got to figure out how that works. And is it all foundation members, or are there community members in certain parts of the world that are dev builders that could help, or can be greeters in world? And just thinking about that as a whole is an ongoing conversation for sure.
Thank you very much. I just asked InWorld if this community is slowly burning out because there's much feedback on this. And Gregory Lisane is saying it is. Parcel Kusuto is adding the good things about flames is that they can be reignited under the right conditions. And aka Heroes is adding, for example, Parcel Kazuto and myself stepped back from DCL in 2023 from the lack of progress and burnout related to that. So this seems to be a really hot topic here. Thanks for bringing it up. And Miguel Amagos adding, yeah, I think it was a global burnout, to be honest. And we're talking about the time from 2023. So have things changed since then that we can protect the community a little bit better from burning out? Or was it the overall feeling? Is it the same problems as in 2023? I would love to hear your opinions on that. And I also would like to bring the sorry, the discussion a little bit into the direction of the community, because I think this whole topic, who holds the power, can't be discussed without us. And I would like to know, should users demand more tools for self-governance or create them ourselves? And who's in charge? Is it the DAO? Is it the foundation? In the end, are we the ones? And I see Sinful's hand is coming up. So Sinful, please feel free to add.
I guess like in order to answer for like in terms of like the burnout, like have things changed in 2025 where we have some safety nets for burnout and stuff like that? I feel like burnout is a little tricky because it comes to with each individual's goals and expectations on the platform. So for example, like for me, like I guess I consider myself simple. Like the fact that I have friends that come to Beyond the NFT every Monday, like from me being a streamer with like 1 or 2 viewers for like 3 years or 2 years, sorry, 2 years. And then like all of a sudden, like having friends actually come through, like that is huge to me. Like you guys recharge my battery every week, actually. So, and then there is like maybe like where the person that is focused on building a wearable empire. Like if sales drop off, then like that's where the burnout comes. I can feel, or like yeah. Go ahead on Noah.
Thanks. And you kind of sparked an idea in my head, and hopefully I don't lose my train of thought. But um, I think we also experience a little bit of like social burnout, if that's even a concept. Like, so for you, you were saying that people were recharging your batteries whenever you're kind of getting support from the community, and it made me realize that it kind of works in both ways. And some of the toxicity that was getting thrown at grantees when the grant program still existed, I think was extremely demotivating for people. Like having this feeling like people are turning on you because they have some perception that you didn't deliver, or that you rugged your project or something, because they didn't fully understand that dynamic between community developers and the foundation. I know for me personally, that was a big reason why I felt like I needed to step away, because it just felt like I went from feeling like I had this great community of new friends and everybody had my back, to feeling like I don't know who I can really trust. Like it seems like people are turning on me for just trying to contribute something. So there's a little bit of that kind of burnout too that I think we need to worry about.
Okay, I just asked it in the community. Thanks, Anna, very much. Sinful, is your hand still up, or did you raise it again?
No, I haven't.
Okay, good. So I asked inward, should users demand more tools for self-governance or create them ourselves? And the answers are coming from Parsival Kazuto, who's saying we should create them ourselves, but most people don't want to do it for nothing in return. And Akaros is adding to the burnout topic. For myself, it was burnout related to the absolutely corrupt DAO politics and the complete lack of progress at the foundation, knowing as much smaller capable team could do much more. Also, Miguel Amago, sorry. Miguel Amago is adding, and the bugs, mention please the bugs. So yeah, I think this is something that's also very concerning for the users. I know this myself. And having games here was bringing a lot, as Miguel is saying, of people, but constant bugs made the experience bad for everyone. And also Parsival is adding, there was a lot of really good grant proposals and they were denied back in the day because everything was a popularity contest. So, yeah, thank you very much for everyone who is participating also in world. I see this space doesn't have as much listeners as the last one, but I'm still very, very happy about everyone that is here. If anyone would like to add something, please feel free to come up as a speaker. Everyone is more than welcome. I would love to hear your all thoughts on who has the power in Decentraland. And Anna, I see your hand is risen. Do you want to add something?
Sorry, I think that's just X glitching again.
Sorry. Okay, Kimbo is leaving the world, but still listening on X. Thank you very much, Kimbo, for being here. Also in world. For everyone in world, in the next W.T.F DCL event, we will have a few more features where you can interact. We will have polls and everything. I see we got a question up, and let's see what this is saying. Master Rains, super thank you, Toxic, for making this discussion happen. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here, because this discussion would not happen without you taking part of it. Also, this is kind of my take on the question that I asked in World earlier. Let me quick get back to it. I asked it, should users demand more tools for self-governance or create them ourselves? And I think this is my personal opinion. I came to Decentraland because of the possibilities to do things yourself without asking for permission. This is something that I love about Decentraland, and haven't seen it changed much, to be honest, because we can at least still do this kind of spaces, talk about things. I think this is a kind of power that we all have and that we should use. We also should use our voices, so I'm very happy that people are sharing them here today. I see I see M and Metawolf in the listeners. If you would like to add anything, also Mingindosh, if you would like to anything in world, please feel free. We are discussing who holds the power in the Decentraland, DAO Foundation, or users, and I think we're coming slowly to an end. If you have some spacey takes, friends, please drop them, because this event is called WTF. We talk facts, and I kind of would like to tackle all the spicy things that are on our minds. So, Sinful, I saw your mic is going up.
Yeah, because there was like I think in between all of that there was like maybe a comment made of like I believe the community should build the tools, but it's just none of them are doing it. I would like to point at our good friend Mr. J Stickle, that has been like just developing like a madman this last like couple of weeks. He even like released his like curved screen uh in GitHub with like the guide features, and yeah, so like check it out. Make sure to hit up Mr. J Stickle. I feel like with his tools, it's like in a way there's the Decentraland admin tools, but then there are users that can potentially even like create their own with in-house tools.
Thank you very much, Sinful. I also think that communities are rolling out shortly. If I understood it right, at least the very alpha. Anna, I don't see you as a speaker anymore. I see your hand is rising, and I'm sorry, maybe the X space is cursed. But,
Toxic, I wanted to comment on.
Yes.
I think the question might have been following up on Sinful's is like user generated governance or something like that, if I'm understanding correctly. But we tried that and it failed, right? It was the DAO, and so we had to hire or elect people to run it for us. I mean, that's what we did, right? We couldn't trust ourselves to vote on things, so we said, hey, we're gonna hire 5 people, and then they're gonna hire one person, and so we tried the community governance and it just didn't work.
So, okay, this is a very interesting topic. I love it. Yeah, Anna, I see your hand is risen. I'm sorry. If you want to come up, please request again. Sorry, I lost a little bit track, because in Decentraland we have some conversations going on also about the topic. So if you want to add something, friends, and make sure that I see your question, please submit it through the UI. And yeah, we kind of tried community-driven governance in the DAO. So I think since we have the restructuring, we need to admire that it failed. I think this is very sad, but we can maybe work from here, and maybe it was a wrong start to start with total decentralization, and this should be the goal that we're aiming for. At least this is what I'm hoping very much. Anna, still can't let you up. I don't know why. Master Wins is adding I think decentralized community is always in tension of autonomy versus productivity, and this is totally right. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, communities are running out in Decentraland. I think this is a feature that can help us if we use it smart, if we use it right, to organize us. And if we have anything that we would like to discuss, I think and I believe we need to have the spaces where we can do so. I know that we have many Discords, like the DAO Discord, also the Decentraland Discord. But I have a feeling that conversations there are not really happening. I'm not quite sure why and what is the problem. I would love to hear your all's opinion on this too, if you would like to add anything. And yeah, sorry, I see all the hands are up. I'm not sure if this is true. Anyone wants to add something here from the listeners and from the speakers on X?
I think the people aren't talking on Discord, and it's unfortunate because it's treated as a job. And I've mentioned this to Dr. Krillo, who's done fantastic work. You don't see Alvaro or Nico E or August or anybody else from the foundation posting their little side fun project that they're working on in Decentraland, right? Like, I mean, hot take. There's always this info share that can't be shared, and it's like, why? And you go in the Discord, and it's like, why aren't you seeing the foundation developers getting excited about what they're working on and sharing sneak previews or sharing little things like just being in there, right? You don't see it, and I think it's because it's a job to them. And I understand, like I said earlier, I don't use the platform that much. I program in it, so I understand that. But at least, like, you know, there's a passion behind it, and we just don't see that. That's why they're not in the Discord. At 5 o'clock, they're out. They're not posting late night or working or even during the daytime, little snippets. And I think that's very frustrating in terms of like transparency. This isn't like an AI's top secret facility. It's an open source platform that's building a virtual metaverse. Like, we should be able to show and showcase and highlight and get excited about like the things that are working on or coming. So that's my hot take. Why no one's in the Discord?
So I will say that as of recently, though, this is I would say like maybe like the last month or so, we have been seeing Nico be more active, but like in not in like Discord chat like you're mentioning, but he's been going to Dr. Krillo's office hours and like sitting in there and like sharing like maybe some stuff that he's excited about. So there is that like we're that maybe the message is getting through, dude.
Well, it's 3 years late because Kim can come up here too. I was in Italy. I was on the phone with Kim and Emma, and I mentioned doing an office hours 3 years ago. So I'm glad they finally got to it, but I mentioned that 3 years ago.
Hey, we're here. We're here. We made it.
I've been pushing for 3 years, Lastrom. We got it. But yeah, I totally hear you. I know it's definitely late, but we got here. And in terms of sharing sneak peeks, yeah, I gotta talk to the team more. It happens a lot on our internal channels, like Ben say when he figures out a really cool light thing or something. And we've been talking recently about how they can share that more externally. I think the hesitation that comes up is if they think they figure something out, they don't want to show it until it's definite everyone can figure it out and use it, because then we get held to the like, I saw you show this little thing and now I don't have it. And that just becomes this like push and pull of like, okay, then I don't want to show you anything until I can hand it over. So I totally hear you, and I think it does happen, but you guys don't see it. And so I need to talk to them about like where does it feel appropriate and where do we feel like we're not going to be held to something they're testing and maybe failing but they're excited about.
Well, Kim, it gets back to my other question of like
Yep.
the inverse is smart wearables used to work and now they don't.
Yep.
And so, like, holding accountability, I mean, you're worried. I totally get it. Worried about showcasing something, and then someone says, "Hey, how come this doesn't work anymore?" Or how come this isn't implemented? I saw it in the Discord. Well, that has already happened like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I totally get it. But I mean, I think that's the thought on their side of like, we see what happens when we show something and then it doesn't work. Everyone gets mad. So like, that's where a lot of that hesitation comes from.
Maybe a
Thank you very
disclaimer.
much.
It's like, this may break.
But again, I think that's where the user base split comes in, Kim, is like the developers know that like it's kind of nerdy, and it's like the developers want to get together and talk shop. They want to like literally geek out at a LAN party together. And that's all I've ever asked for since 3 years of asking you and like before, is like developers just want to geek out and see what Bensei's doing, knowing he's just working on cool stuff. He's riffing, right? And that's the difference between like a community of users and a community of developers, because the users would definitely be like, hey, I saw that. Where is that? I want that, right? And then developers would be like, oh yeah, Bensei's, he's in the flow state, he's vibing, right? All those buzzwords, and we would get it, and that would excite other developers to see sort of like what's going on, and maybe a light bulb goes off and it's like, aha, whoa, that is so cool, wow. I think there's in general, from the developers, there's a lack of inspiration, and I think that comes from top down. That's all.
Thank you very much, Lastram. I want to take a look at the in-world chat. So Gregory is saying, if Decentraland runs a company, every cent allocated should be traced. Are financial flows publicly auditable, or are they managed off-chain without transparency? This comes from Gregory Desane. Ekahoros is adding, for starting as the idea of a DAO, the foundation and those behind the scenes operate with complete lack of transparency. This is a topic that arises more often today. I also have some question about this. Anna was saying Nico has always been super helpful, but he's still a human with limitations, and he had a lot of late when we talked earlier about the features that Lastram requested. Is saying everyone burned out before the support came, just a comment. And Passive Kazuto is adding, consider me for your voting power delegate for the user community. I don't know with, okay, I think this is a private conversation going on there. Master Waynes is adding that she's loving the comments from M. So M, thank you very much for adding these. Very insightful. So Gregory Sane is also adding, we all have a horse in the race, feel bitter, yet we are all still present because we love and we want to believe in Decentraland, and this is a fact, is he saying. And I see we have a question in World View the UI from Minguin Doge is coming. So how many employees does the foundation have? I heard rumors that it is 60. That means there are twice as many people as the peak of oh, sheesh, that's a complicated word. Let me try again. So how many employees does the foundation have? I heard rumors that it is 60. That means there are twice as many people as the peak of simultaneous users today in Client 2. For me, that gives a cup of power to the foundation. Thank you very much for adding this. Mimidosh, I would like to add to this. For me personally, power has a lot to do with information. And what I'm not super comfortable with right now is that I have to take a lot of information just on trust, especially when it comes from foundation. Like, I hope everyone has seen the mid-year recap. I can drop the link in a second. Yeah, they said that we had 202K unique wallets have engaged with the platform in 2025 in the first half. And I would love to know how many of them stayed. These are so many questions that I have as a user, that maybe someone that only sees the recap, seeing the numbers, that it's looking good. For me, this gives me the feeling as if maybe the real numbers that would be interesting for us users, how many daily active users do we have, how many users logging for the first time and they stay. These are things that not got talked about in any meaning. So for me, this is a really hot topic, but maybe I'm alone on this. I don't know. Maybe someone here would like to add something on that. Would be awesome. I see we lost a few speakers, and I think we already came to the time where we should maybe start with winding down a little bit. So anyone, if you would like to anything, feel free. Now's the chance. Are we going to close a little bit down? Okay, I think we're coming to to a close now, and I thank everyone for being here and talking with us. So yeah, we talked about who holds the power in the Decentraland, and yeah, I think many of us mentioned that the foundation has the power. So now the question that I'm telling myself is this something that needs to change? And if yes, who's gonna bring the change? And maybe this is a topic that we could discuss a little bit later. Sinful, if it's okay, would love to rate to the community building Discord channel after this, if this is fine with you. And yeah,
Of course.
very nice. So, okay, friends, use the chance, drop your questions in Word or come up as a speaker, because now we're talking who holds the power in the Decentraland Foundation. We already said has the infrastructure, the access, the voice, they build what we log into, and they shape what's visible to the world. The DAO has the treasury, the structure, and the long-term responsibility. It can fund ideas, redirect energy, and hold decision makers accountable in a term. And the users, well, I think this got very obvious today. We are the heartbeat, we create the culture, and we drive visibility. And ultimately, we decide whenever any of this matters, because here's the truth. For me, the foundation can build, but without people, it's just code, and the DAO can govern, but without us, it's nothing to govern there. And the users, we can show up or we can walk away. And for me, the choice that we have, this is kind of the power. So maybe this whole discussion should not be about who's holding the power, but how we share it, question it, and use it together. So thanks so much for being part of this conversation, everyone. Sinful, last time your last speakers up, would you like to share some last thoughts with us?
Go ahead, Sin.
Hmm. Oh man, I just drew a blank because I was replying in a world. Ah man, I did have something really good to finish off on, but I guess the shit I can't do it. Well, either way, have a great night, everyone. I'll pass it over to Lastra.
Oh, I was going to take it for you, maybe give you a second to remember. I just think in the end, we have to really, I don't think any of this can matter in terms of accountability or who has the power, because in the end, it seems like it's the foundation and they're going to use their money and build the platform, regardless if there's 33 users or 34,000 users. So, with all the good and bad and ugly that has been talked about and discussed and spicy content, we're all here for a reason. And we just have to take it at that face value. And I would say that's my last comment.
Thanks so much for being part of this conversation, Lastrom. Very insightful. Thank you for your time. Same for all the speakers on our Sinful. Kimbo, thank you very, very much. Yeah, friends, so stay curious, stay engaged, and see you in 2 weeks again for W.T.F DCL. If you have any recommendations for a topic, please feel free to reach out or post it under this space. Thank you very much. Bye.